I don't know about you guys. The whole assault on the Postal Service for years now has just completely baffled me. The most basic component being it's not called the postal business. It's called the Postal Service, which means it's supposed to provide a service. First of all, it's not. I mean, people make it out like it's financially in bad shape. It actually isn't. The only reason they try to say it is because they borrow from the Postal Service all the time. But even if it was, it's the Postal Service. You know what it's supposed to do? It's supposed to provide a service, which is low-cost shipping all over the frickin' world, which, guess what? It does that. The other thing it's supposed to do is it's supposed to be run by citizens who live in a country, and it's supposed to provide them a salary. Oh, guess what? It does that too. Hence, it's working just great.
Yep. Yeah. So, it's crazy. I mean, anytime there's any sort of public service, it seems like, they just, whether it's the neolibs or the conservatives, they just figure out a way to chip away at it. And now it's just an all out assault,
Well, does it blow your guys' mind? Like, and I know you guys have toured all over the world, right? I mean, you guys have gone all over the world with Eve 6.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, have you seen in other countries where kind of our attitude, not like the people here, but like the United States attitude towards government is just so different than a lot of other parts in the world, where they would just sort of be like, what are you talking about? The government is like in Denmark, if it's like, taxes, they'd be like, what do you mean? Half of my family works for the government, and the government is, I pay my taxes so that I get these great social services that are performed by people I know in a lot of the cases. And that's how a society functions. What do you mean the Postal Service isn't making enough money? How is that even an objective for them? It'd be like saying the Postal Service doesn't have my favorite muffins, so it should be gone. like it just doesn't make sense to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, in some of the more socially democratic countries, it's like they see at least some of the fruits of their what they're paying in taxes. So whether it's healthcare or any other sort of public service here, we do pay a lot of taxes, and what does it go to? Like, 700 and whatever, $800 billion a year to the military. No one ever asks, like, where's the return on that? I mean, I guess there is a return on that, but it's not a positive one. But it's just, and some of these other, while still capitalist, at least socially democratic countries, they're at least seeing something in return, which we just don't.
That's a big part of the problem too. Yeah. I mean, I remember when I was in Scotland, I was at the immigration center, and they did this like pie chart saying where all their budget went and it was just like, the arts, education, healthcare, and like all these other things. And I realized we can't ever have anything like that in the United States. I wish we did, because it would wake a lot of people up. But if we did, it would just be like the entire circle would just be war. And then like a little sliver, it was just like everything else. Screw you.
Yep. Basically.
So let's take a look at this. So here's what's going on as of recent. Pelosi calls the House back from recess as outrage mounts over turmoil at the U.S. Postal Service. So apparently House Speaker Pelosi has called the Congress back. And what they're going to do is they're going to have an urgent vote. It's going to happen this week to stop changes at the U.S. Postal Service until, at least after the election. Democrats demand for funding to bolster election security and $25 billion to support the Postal Service. And Democrats are demanding that Postmaster General Louis DeJoy, a major Trump donor, that they all testify before Congress. So, guys, how selfless is this that Congress is taking time out from their paid vacation that they earned very much after spending all this?
It's rough. I feel really bad for Pelosi.
So bad.
Having to work so hard to take care of this. It's really sad.
They spent all this time and effort telling us that we don't deserve any relief during a pandemic. They earned this vacation clearly, and they have to cut it a little short. Crazy.
Filled with fancy ice cream and beaches and a paycheck still. So,
Very true. Very true. Well, what do you What do you think's gonna? Do you think they're actually gonna do anything this week? Let's start there.
Man, I don't know. Do you think they're going to do anything, Max?
If I were a betting man, I'd say probably not. Probably some noise and some sort of, signaling, and not a lot of actionable movement.
Have you guys seen it? Because I know we're all in the Los Angeles area. I've not seen anything firsthand. I've seen stuff online, though. But have you guys seen any tampering of mailboxes where you're at or anything like that?
I haven't seen it here, but a buddy of mine posted a picture last night of some boxes in, like, I think it was like North Hollywood or something like that, with the red like block, so you can't put mail in there. I mean, it's absolutely insane.
Well, it's right on the surface. Like, they're not even trying to conceal it right now. Like, they're just like, oh, we're just going to go after the. And what a lot of people don't realize, it's like, okay, if this happens, and this is just an objective truth, like, Trump's for sure going to win. If they manage to suppress the vote, I mean, if two things go unchecked, one of them being, the Postal Service, because of the pandemic, there's going to be a lot of vote by mail. The other thing being, hey, at the end of September, 40 million people are on track to lose their homes. Because once the eviction moratoriums are lifted, 40 million people are going to lose their homes. Not only is that absolutely disgusting, it's something needs to be done to keep people in their homes, but if both those things happen, like, Trump's for sure going to win. That's just objectively, like, no Republican can lose under those scenarios.
Yeah, I mean, the way this all works is so rigged in the first place. Everything from the from the way the Democratic platform works to the
Wait, are you suggesting? Are you suggesting there was a problem in the primary? John, the people chose Joe Biden.
I know they did. Maybe to some degree that's true, but it's all because of things like this, whatever sort of, gerrymandering, voter suppression, closing polls. It's like, they can't say they switched, you can't say, oh, they switched the vote, but if they close a poll and people can't vote, then
in Iowa, they
basically did. Yeah, no, I know.
They did in Iowa. So they actually did do that somewhere. It's
insane. I mean, it's the whole, on both sides, it's absolute insanity. The Democrats steal it from each other, and then the Republicans steal it from the Democrats. I mean, it's insane.
Well, and in the end, it's just upholding the status quo. The Democrats do it during the primary to make sure no progressives get through. And then the Republicans do it in the general to make sure, hey, we're the people that are most on the surface saying we care about the donors. The Democrats have to be a little more subtle about it. So occasionally a concession happens here and there.
I don't feel like Joe Biden's even that subtle about it, though. I mean, he's pretty out and out about the, who's pulling the strings. So
that's a very, very excellent point. Max, what about you? You a big Biden guy? Are you sold? Are you convinced?
Yeah, he's just such an inspiring candidate. He just fills me with like a white hot passion, and I'm just so moved, compelled, really, to just hit the streets in support of the man.
Have you guys seen any Biden signs around you?
No.
And we live in Southern California.
I saw a Bloomberg sticker the other day on the freeway, but no Biden signs.
Well, on somebody's car?
Yeah.
It
was like, I'm sure he got paid to put it on there, but of course. Nonetheless, I did see a Bloomberg sticker.
Was it a nice car?
Yeah. It was, it was basically what you would expect.
Like a Lamborghini.
No, it was like a Prius or something.
All right.
I wouldn't expect that, actually.
Yeah.
Prius, I'm thinking like, come on, at least like Warren, not Bloomberg.
Right. Maybe it wasn't a Prius. It was something like that. Some sort of economy car. Nice economy car, though. You know.
All right, it wasn't IROC. I'll tell you the truth.
I still have my Bernie Sanders bumper sticker on my white BMW 3 Series with black leather interior.
Nice. Do you still get some thumbs up?
I do, yeah.
Nice.
I do, yeah. Had some nice moments with folks for sure.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, right now, like, it's just like, okay, we're going to go back to work to try to, quote, save the Postal Service. But you know what? We might not be in this situation in the first place if they didn't stamp this stuff out as it was occurring so often over the years. And you can find footage of Joe Biden demonizing Social Security. You know, when you have one party that just demonizes social programs and another one that casually goes along with it, this is what happens.
Yeah. I mean, the Democratic Party is just basically a shield, you know, to protect the fash, basically. You know, I mean, they perform, you know, they perform a little song and dance that makes you think that they're the opposition. But at the end of the day, they're really, their only function is to make sure that nobody on the left gets anything through, you know.
Why do you guys think more people in Hollywood aren't in tune with this? Like just everything you just said.
I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with class interests, you know.
Yeah.
I think when you're, you know, not everyone, but I think, you know, for the most part, when you're loaded, you fall into a certain, you know, a certain social atmosphere, and that's, you know, that's the line of thinking in that.
They want to enjoy the optics of progressivism, but not actually, you know, lose any of what they, you know, think is theirs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I saw like a ton of Warren stuff, you know, throughout the primary, like in you know, Hollywood and Hollywood adjacent places, and you know, my first thought was like, well, I get it. Actors want to stick with other actors. You know, they kind of see that a lot. They're just like, you know, she's doing a great job pretending she's for progressive policies. It's a really convincing role she's doing. You know, she was a Republican until 47. She's really crushing it in this. She's crushing it.
Yeah.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and